Rob Gronkowski coming out of retirement, going to play with Tom Brady at Tampa Bay.
You know, when you start years and years of accumulated reps together, it just gets better and better every year.
Tigers down the middle, touchdown Gronkowski.
He's an unstoppable rebel force.
Gronk and Tom Brady made the Patriots into who they are.
Rob Gronkowski was only willing to come out of retirement to play in Tampa with Tom Brady.
Tampa Bay is all in.
They sure are. We're all in and happy to have you with us. I'm Wendy Nix, Adam Schefter, Teddy Bruschi, and Dan Orlovsky also joining us. Quarterback Justin Herbert and Eagles GM Howie Roseman coming up just a bit later. It has been a hectic 24 hours to say the least. First, we heard Gronk might return and reunite with Tom Brady, and then within the hour, New England agreed to send the tight end and a 7th-round pick to the Bucs in exchange for a 4th-rounder in this year's draft. Last August, Gronkowski explained his thought process on retirement.
So, in the Super Bowl, about a couple minutes into the second quarter, I caught a pass on the left side, cut over, and the linebacker took me right out, right here in my quad. I flipped in the air, and I knew my quad was done. But I knew it was right there and then. I was like, last game, Super Bowl game, just give it all you have. So, you know, the game went on and everything, and I got done with the game. I could barely walk. Now I could barely walk. I'm at the after party. I go to after party like this. I sit down, and I'm just chilling all day, like the rest of the night till like 3 a.m. I try to go to bed. I slept for 5 minutes that night. I couldn't even think. I was in tears in my bed after a Super Bowl victory. It didn't make that much sense to me. And then for 4 weeks, I couldn't even sleep for more than 20 minutes a night after a Super Bowl win. And I was like, damn, like, this sucks. Like, it didn't feel good. In 6 weeks, it was one of the biggest, deepest thigh bruises I ever got.
Well, I think the break was very good for Rob. Rob gave football everything he had. He fought through a lot of injuries. He's had about a dozen surgeries in his career. This time off really reinvigorated him physically. He tells me he feels fantastic, the best he's ever felt.
Well, here's what Gronk had to say via text message to Fox Sports. I'm back. I always said when I have that feeling and it feels right, I'll be ready to take the field again, and I have that feeling. I'm ready. Well, Tom Brady took to social media as well earlier today. Tom Brady tweeted, "Time to run it back at Rob Gronkowski."
A little tired, but Gronk reporting.
Well, he's certainly back. Adam Schefter told us the news yesterday. What more can you tell us about how this Gronk deal got done, Shefty?
Wendy, from the moment Tom Brady went to Tampa, it almost seemed inevitable that at some point in time, Rob Gronkowski was sure to follow. And I think at one point in time, he conveyed to the Patriots that he'd like to come out of retirement. The Patriots could not carry his salary on their books. They're about $1 million under the salary cap at this point in time. He's scheduled to make $10 million this year, and so there was a financial mismatch this year. With Gronk coming back, he knew that would put the pressure on the Patriots to move him. He was only willing to go to Tampa, and the Patriots know what's good for them. They were going to get something for nothing in this particular case. So they get back a 4th-round pick. They send Gronk and a 7th to Tampa Bay, and Tampa was the only place that Rob Gronkowski was willing to go play with Tom Brady. And the Bucs now clearly are all in this year, signing Tom Brady to a 2-year, fully guaranteed $50 million contract, honoring the 1-year, $10 million contract that Rob Gronkowski had with New England while he was on the reserve retired list. And so the Buccaneers now are all in for this year, and it wouldn't surprise me if they go out and add more pieces that they don't fill from holes in the draft at this point in time. They are trying to become the first team ever to play a Super Bowl in their home city, and obviously they are being very aggressive in going about this. They'll have the 14th pick on Thursday night. It's the highest that a Tom Brady team has ever drafted in the first round. That will be another piece that Tampa Bay will get to add to a collection that now includes Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski.
There's no question they're all in, Shefty. They do also, though, have 2 pretty good tight ends on that roster already. Any idea what might be the case for those guys?
was told yesterday that they're holding on to O.J. Howard. Now, logically, we all would look at this and say, well, I don't know if that makes sense, but maybe they're imagining playing two tight end offenses with O.J. Howard and Rob Gronkowski. Don't forget, they also have Cameron Brate. So they have talent at the position. I'm sure if they get an offer that they can't refuse, my guess is maybe they'd listen to it, but they intimated they have nothing in place, nothing going on with O.J. Howard at this point in time. But we're in draft week, Wendy, and things change quickly in draft week, as we saw yesterday with Tampa Bay, New England, and Rob Gronkowski. If some team made a compelling offer, maybe they'd listen. But again, as of yesterday, as of last night, nothing in place for O.J. Howard, no plans to move on from O.J. Howard. Keep in mind that New England made a run at O.J. Howard in the past. It inquired about him last year. The Buccaneers didn't move on from him. And right now, they don't seem inclined to move on from him this weekend, but maybe another team will make the Buccaneers change their mind.
Well, as you mentioned, things change quickly. It is still draft week, virtual or no. Shefty, thank you. Gronk has missed 13 games over the last 3 seasons while he dealt with back, ankle, and as you heard, thigh injuries. He was also placed on the injured reserve on 2 previous occasions in his career, suffering a torn ACL in 2013 and a broken left forearm in 2012, both of which required surgery. Teddy Bruschi with us for the first time in a while. Teddy, happy to see your face. And I'll ask you this. What was your reaction when you first heard the news of the Gronkowski trade?
Good to see you too, Wendy. Honestly, a part of me thought to myself, why didn't we see this coming?
Yeah.
We should have inevitably seen this coming after Rob. I mean, if you know Rob and how much he loves to play football, that it's a big part of him that was missing. And so no matter what he wanted to do was be an analyst or go to the WWE, the one thing that he loves the most is playing football. And so having an opportunity to come back, I know he had problems within the New England Patriots organization in terms of, with the way he was treated at times was a little over the top. And so that really took away some of his joy, some of his love. So one thing that he truly loved was playing with Tom Brady. And so when Tom goes over to Tampa Bay and there's a new situation that presents itself, I think it's a great opportunity for Rob. I'm happy for him and look forward to seeing him play. How effective he'll be, that's another question.
Well, you know what? It's right. First reaction was what? And then it was, well, of course, this makes sense. But I will ask you about that because Gronk last played a full season in 2011. I know he can still play, but how effective can he be in the short term in Tampa coming off a year away from the game?
Yeah, Wendy, I don't know how much he weighs, because I think that was the initial, eye test when you saw when Rob was retired. It was like, man, this guy dropped weight. I don't know if it was 10. I don't know if it was 20, but you could noticeably see that he had less muscle. He looked fit, absolutely, still in shape, but that football weight, I don't know if he had. Does he have to put on more weight? The training that he has to do that, will his body hold up to that? So there are some things he has to do in terms of physically, and then holding up, of course, over 16 games is going to be difficult for him. But if he's effective in the beginning of the year, I think it's just going to be a huge problem for a lot of the defenses going up against them, and a huge positive for the receivers that are on the Buccaneers.
Yeah, no question. I don't see how that's not true. Dan, could this Bucs team now potentially be the first to host a Super Bowl in their home stadium, as Adam mentioned?
Oh, they absolutely can. I mean, the reality, and make no bones about it, is the San Francisco 49ers are still the favorite in the NFC, but it's really a top 3 race now in that conference. It's the 49ers, it's the Bucs, and it's the Saints as the 3 best teams. And if you look at Gronk's impact, think about him working the middle of the field. Going down the field is something that notoriously is tied to Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and the New England Patriots. And the Bucs have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin on the outside. And now this addition of Gronk is going to allow them to work the middle of the field. And now defenses, to Teddy's point, are going to go, all right, do we want to pay more attention to Rob Gronkowski in the middle of the field? And then you're going to free up Mike Evans one-on-one on the outside, or Chris Godwin one-on-one on the outside. So this takes their offense to a different level. They still need a tackle, and they still need a pass-catching running back. But it's a big addition. I wanted to touch on 2 things, one from Shefty and one from Teddy. Shefty talked about them still having O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate. I would not be surprised if Bruce Arians uses Gronk as a little bit of a flex tight end more often than the number one inline tight end, a little bit more of a wide receiver position. That keeps him out of the physical fray a little bit. He doesn't have to be the point of contact and point of attack guy. Maybe that keeps his body a little healthy. And then Teddy brought up the weight loss. And I remember, and near the end of my career and at the very end of Rondé Barber's career, I played with Rondé down in Tampa, and I asked him, Rondé, what's the one thing that has allowed you to play for such a long time and play good football as you got older? And he looked at me and said, Dan, I lost weight. My body was used to the hits, but me losing that weight allowed me to recover faster during the week, to move a little bit better, and my body felt fresher. And so I think the weight loss might be a benefit for Gronk as this season goes on.
Yeah, and I think the point that you're making, Dan, is a good one, because what was a big part of the injury with Gronkowski, there was at times he had a back injury. So, I mean, the threat is always there. Defenses have to respect it of him being an inline blocker. So if I'm a defensive player and in comes Gronkowski in 2 tight end sets and I'm a defensive coordinator, I have to put a matching defensive personnel grouping on the field, multiple linebackers, whatever it may be, because they can line up in possible heavy running formations. But all of a sudden, the huddle breaks, and now he's split out. And so now you got matchup problems because you got an extra linebacker in the game because you thought he was going to run. So doing that early also might help. And I agree with you because, I mean, you want him in December, and you want him to last that long. So definitely an advantage of having a receiver in the likes of Rob Gronkowski.
All right, Teddy, we're going to let you go. But listen, before we do, you had good hair before, my friend. Now, hands down the Corona hair winner. It's not even close. Sorry, Dan.
I'm not even touching his hair. I'm letting it grow. It's coming in the back a little bit, too.
Okay.
This mullet is coming, so we'll just see how long it goes, Wendy.
Business in the front, party in the back, Teddy. Get it done. See you soon.
Right. All right.
This is the best tight end in the game.
He's an unstoppable rebel force.
He's just a beast.
Cannot stop him.
He's just a tremendous player for our team.
The man is a monster on the field. Oh, superhuman.
With the 42nd pick, the New England Patriots select Rob Gronkowski.
That's a dream come true. I'm so excited. It's unbelievable. I'm ready to get back out on that field.
Touchdown, Rob Gronkowski. His first career touchdown. What a catch by Rob Gronkowski. And that breaks the record for touchdowns by a tight end in the NFL season.
Lobs it to the right side for Gronkowski. Has a step, has a touchdown. Patriots!
And the spike.
A 4th Lombardi trophy is headed to one Patriot place.
Great atmosphere to start where I started in college and then win the Super Bowl.
Gronkowski makes the catch over 2 defenders. And the Patriots have won 3 of the last 5.
Another Super Bowl championship.
He's got a great personality.
Who's getting wild tonight?
I'm going to be the craziest dude in the NFL. I'm going to do funny things.
It's the Gronkowski family. You want to dance with him?
I might have to take you both over.
Oh, my God. Just make it the Gronk show.
I still wish I was a kid.
Oh, home run.
I'm a huge wrestling fan ever since being in elementary school.
Need some help? I think I got this, so thank you. Thanks, man. I'll see you in a minute. All right. That was cool.
Unbelievable. Gronk continued right on into retirement. This was just this past November. He joined the Lakers girls on the court for a dance at halftime. Not bad. In February, the shenanigans continued. Gronk hosting an epic, his words, Super Bowl beach party in Miami on, you guessed it, Gronk Beach. And at the end of March, he appeared on The Masked Singer on Fox as the White Tiger. When asked if he would return to football, Gronk said, I don't know. And finally, Gronk hosted WrestleMania 36 earlier this month and came out as a champion, winning the 24/7 championship belt. Well, Tom Brady is happy about Gronk's return. The two have combined for 78 touchdowns through the air, the 5th most by any quarterback-receiver combination in NFL history. Check out this list. They trail only Peyton and Marvin Harrison, Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates, Steve Young and Jerry Rice, and then Dan Marino and Mark Clayton. Our intrepid ESPN Patriots reporter Mike Reese joins us now. And Mike, with Brady and Gronk's departure, what, if anything, does this say about Bill Belichick and the culture in New England?
Well, Wendy, you know, when we talk about culture, we can go in a lot of different directions. And for me, I like to actually go back to 2011. And I'm going to take you back to late November. It's in Philadelphia. And the Patriots were down 10-0 to the Eagles. They came back and they won in a blowout. And after that game, Bill Belichick said something that I've never forgotten. He said, "I know we demand a lot. I know we're not an easy team to play for, and I'm not an easy coach to play for, but the team responded." And Wendy, I wrote that down, and I've never forgotten it because it was so refreshingly honest from Bill Belichick about his culture coming from his own mouth. It's a hard driving culture. And you know, the results speak for themselves. It's a culture Belichick has a lot of reason to be proud of. He's developed physically tough teams, mentally tough teams that rise up in critical situations and win a lot of games and championships. But a point that you hear from people like our own Teddy Bruschi, the longer you're in that, it can wear on you. And Rob Gronkowski has acknowledged that in part, that it was hard for him as he continued on with the Patriots. And for Tom Brady, it's a little bit different because that was as much of a contract situation as anything else. You know, he would have loved an extension in 2018 and 19. When that didn't happen, it led to this end result.
You know, you really can, I think, Mike, in this case, see everybody's perspectives. There's no real cut and dry right and wrong. Thank you.